Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 905 Clickbait. What's up, James? I'm late. I only do it for low roller scratcher. I'm late for low roller. Make him wait. I can't find. Doesn't it annoy the shit out of you when you can't find something? So I have my trusty mug with no top on it. It's topless. So I washed it yesterday. And it has, of course, it's a three-part mug. The mug, as you just saw, there's a thing, like a black rubber thing that goes on top. And then, of course, there's the top. Well, I have the mug. I have the top, but I don't have the black rubber thing. I tore my kitchen apart. I don't know where it's at. So I've got to ask my wife. And it's going to be one of those. It's like, oh, man, how do I approach this? My wife is quick to, where's the scissors? I don't know. Well, you use them more than I do. But what I really love about when it's not my fault, and I'll admit, most of the time, I had the scissors somewhere. The last time this happened, a few weeks ago, where'd you put the scissors? I haven't used the scissors. Well, you use the scissors more than I do. So I happened to take like the trash or recycling out, and guess where the scissors were? They were in the garage. And guess who did not put the scissors in the garage? This guy. Guess who did? My wife. So I came back in with the scissors, and I said, did you leave the scissors in the garage? I got the look. So I'm going to have to ask my wife, where did you put my rubber black thing? And she's going to be like, what in the F are you talking about? The thing, the black thing, the black rubber thing that was in the dishwasher thing. So yeah. So hopefully we'll see how well this works. Maybe I'll just waste a giant cup of coffee because it's going to be cold by the time I get there. So it is Monday. Check your nightstand. It is Monday. We've got a clickbait topic today, but it's actually not clickbait. Maybe it's clickbait because I did one of those. It's been a while since I've done one of those thumbnails. I felt today's topic was necessary for a oh shit topic thumbnail. This topic actually was inspired by a post in the Hobby Evolution Facebook group. If you're not there, let's share that group link, copy link, paste it into the chat. There it is. Boom. Hobby Evolution Facebook group. Joe Olivo posted a basically like a spreadsheet of his expenses for low card sales. And it's about, and from what I'm like looking at, he nails all the expenses, but there's room to trim. There's some fat in those expenses. So there's places to trim the fat. But what really inspired this was not the actual topic itself, but it was one of John Keating's, shout out to That 70s Card Show. And I think a couple other guys mentioned it as well. And John makes a point about cost of acquisition that I'm reading right here, which is true. It's one point that I wanted to make, but also John mentioned something in here. Let me try to find it. John, where's your comment? Where we at on John's comment? Maybe it wasn't John that said it. Son bitch. Or maybe I'm just scrolling too fast. Or maybe it's in a reply. Or maybe it wasn't John at all. Oh, shit. Anyway, there was a comment in there that inspired this topic. And yes, there it is. Expenses are endless. That's what John said. Don't encourage him. So yeah, so that's what inspired the topic. And so for the last like 6 months, I've touted how great selling low-end sports cards is on eBay. It is. I do it. And I sell a lot and I list a lot and it works for me. However, it might not work for you. And I've mentioned it in passing. I've mentioned it here several times, maybe on a daily basis or almost on a daily basis. I've even mentioned it when Ty and I hook up on Chasing Cardboard and Bench Clear Media. And I've mentioned, in fact, one of our shows that we did, I mentioned, and this was probably 6 months ago, maybe longer. I said, all things being equal, if I was still in my job, and this stands today, June 12th, 2023. I said, if I didn't take the plunge back in October of 2021, if I didn't take that leap to go full time into cards back then, and I stayed at my job, and here we are today, and I'm like, I've got to get out. I've got to do something different. Different wouldn't be what I'm doing today. I would not. Timing is everything. That still stands today, as it stood 6 months ago or 8 months ago. September, October 2021 was my time. It just happened to work for me. That doesn't mean it might not work for you if you decide today that, hey, I'm giving myself a plan and I'm going to be out of my job and start. It can work. But for me, and I'm strict, and nobody can speak for each other. We can only speak for ourselves. For me, now would not be the time if I had not taken that plunge when I did. Today would not be the day. So I just want to make that clear. And we've got over 50 in the chat already. I think the clickbait worked, but it's true. It's not just clickbait. I'm actually going to say my piece on why I think it's not worth your time, because I talk all the time about how it is worth my time. And let's bring up my eBay. We don't want it all to be a shit show about how selling low dollar cards on eBay sucks. Just within the last 10 minutes, I sold a 2017 Panini Classics Steve Grogan of the New England Patriots. What else? A 2002 Upper Deck Piece of History Roger Maris, a 1985 Fleer Dwight Doc Gooden Juan Samuel, a 1991 Line Drive Greg Nettles, and one of my favorites, I hate seeing these go, 1986 Topps William the Refrigerator Perry rookie card. Those are some of my most recent sales within like the last hour. It works, but the timing was right for me. And it may not work for you. It may work for you, but we're going to break down some costs. And there's a lot of things that, as I was scrolling, trying to find John Keating's comment, there was somebody's comment that also stood out. I think it was also a John. A lot of questions on envelopes, and I saw one in the chat just now as well. So I'll address that. John Pissarro says the intangible costs are time and opportunity cost. Absolutely, 100%. I don't really have many opportunity costs because I don't have any other hobbies. I don't have kids. Those are two really big hurdles if you want to sell low dollar cards, because it's not a 9-to-5 Monday through Friday job. I spent probably 10 hours yesterday, Sunday, on the Lord's Day, working, listing, shipping, listing, shipping. So it's I work probably more than twice as much on an hourly basis than I did at my previous job. If you want to get into the nuts and bolts and the numbers, you could crunch those numbers all day. And I'm making less than what I did at my previous job. I'm bringing in more money, but I'm working more, a lot more. But guess what? I don't hate my job anymore. I, in fact, love what I do. And that is very, very important. So let's go into the chat. I don't know. I don't even really have a monologue because all I did yesterday was ship and list, list and ship. Low roller scratchers in the house. He's complaining. Terry Alexander, what's happening? Harlan in the house. Good morning to you. Bo trying to push out the competition with today's stuff. And that, my friends, is exactly why I kind of I want to pick a lane, right? Because if and this is a great example of why I wanted to do this today. I don't want to become, in 2 years, the Jeff Wilson of low-end card sales on eBay, right? Where 2 years ago, Jeff Wilson, the sports card investor, told me to buy, and I bought this. And now 2 years later, Jeff Wilson's a snake oil salesman. He told me to buy Will Greer and Ben Simmons, and look what happened. I don't want to be that. Bo told me that I could quit my job and be really successful at selling low-end cards. First off, no matter what anybody tells you, you can do whatever you want. That could be success. That could also be failure. So don't just blindly listen to anybody unless it's your wife. But if she leaves the scissors in the garage, make sure you point that out. So I don't want to become that. But my fear with addressing why it's not for you is exactly what Harlan said. Well, you're just saying that because you don't want competition. And I've talked about that in the past where it's not for everyone. Here's something, and I sell low-end cards obviously on eBay. Here's something that I don't have like a rooted interest in. And that I share basically the same ideas that I do about this topic today. That's sport lots. I think sport lots is a fantastic platform to sell commons, okay? But I also think it's a really shitty platform to sell your commons. I have thoughts on both sides. Big if, you are organized, not just organized, super organized, not like this, and you know what sells, and you have the time to devote to those sales and picking, packing, listing, shipping. Sport Lots is great. Mike Summer is like, if you have questions about selling on Sport Lots, he can answer them. And he's got plenty of videos and podcasts on selling on Sport Lots. Listen to Mike Summer if you want to, be successful. I can tell you what not to do on Sport Lots. And some of what I tell you not to do might actually work for Mike. I say don't list anything over like 3 or 4 years old. Stay away from 80s and 90s. Obviously super organization. It's super time consuming. And I sold a ton on Sport Lots in 2015, 16, 17. And then it got to the point where it became not worth my time, which is one of my least favorite questions people ask. Is it worth your time? Yes, it is worth my time. If I'm doing it, it is worth my time. Not 100%. Nothing's 100%. But I've been doing this long enough that if it wasn't worth my time, I would no longer be doing it. I may be dumb, but I'm not stupid. Okay. So that's my thought there on like a nod. Like, I'm going to tell you why it's great to sell on Sport Lots, and I'm going to tell you why it's not great to sell on Sport Lots. With eBay, same. And I'm not trying to snuff out the competition, but I'm starting to see more and more people question why it's not working. And I try every day, not every day, but I try most of the time to say, I point out some of these sales, okay? Just because I sold a 1986 Fleer today doesn't mean you should go out and spend 10 cents a card and list a bunch of 1986 Fleer, because that card may have been in my eBay store for a year. So again, it goes to, you have to know what sells. Lost my train of thought there. But I'm starting to see a lot of like, how do you get this cost? Where does this cost? La 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 la. And all of a sudden, and like John says here in the chat, and I think he mentioned it in the Facebook group, like expenses are never ending. I mean, if you want to break down cost, I mean, let's go for broke. Part of your mortgage, because you're using space in your house or apartment or wherever you live, your abode, to do this. Your cell phone, because you're likely using your phone for some part of the business. Taxes is number one. I don't even think that was brought up in the conversation. You got to pay taxes on this. What else? Are you driving to the post office? You've got gas. Well, you're using your car. You've got mileage. So now you've got a mileage expense. What else am I missing? Cell phone bill. You're using electricity for your there's part of your electricity bill. So there's, I mean, expenses, like John said, they're never ending. If you want a true breakdown, you got to take everything into consideration. George, what's up? Good morning. James says it's clickbait. Boston Smoke in the house. Good morning to you. Brian Dean, what's happening? David, good morning. Alex says, good morning. Are you getting out of cards and selling art? No. I felt it was time. It's been a long time since I've done a thumbnail. And I'm like, I can't just like do a thumbnail like in front of my backdrop or just any room in the house. My wife loves art. So she has, it's like a violin. I don't know instruments. I'm not into art or music. Well, I love music, but not like down to the instrument level. I like the sound of music, not the movie, but the actual sounds going into my ears. And a lot of it's butt rock that I like to listen to. So we have that piece in our entryway, and I'm like, hey, this would make a good backdrop. Raphael, what's up? Good morning. Max is in the house. Good morning, Max. By the way, Max will be set up at the Madison Card Show this Saturday. Come out, see Max and everyone else. 125 tables this Saturday. Madison Card Show, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive, 9 to 3. And as always, free admission. Zach and Porter, what's up? Card Fellas, finally get to watch live today. Awesome. Flawed Thinker, what's happening? Ed in the house. Checker Nightstand. I heard that too, John. I was waiting for Rich to say first. Scissors and reading glasses are located on every floor of the house. That is true. Although I don't think we do read. My wife has computer glasses because she's always on her laptop doing work. So she's got those like blue tinted computer glasses, screen glasses, whatever the hell they call them. Scissors, I do need a pair of scissors upstairs. I'm sure my wife has a pair of scissors somewhere, but I don't have any scissors upstairs. Because every once, like if I buy, like, I don't know, if I new shirt and I need to cut like the string or whatever, it's like, damn it, I don't have anything to cut this with. But I do have scissors. I have multiple scissors down here. In fact, I think I have 3 pair of scissors. I have 2 right there in front of me, and I think I have a pair out in the rec room. There's the link to the Facebook group. Expenses are endless. There is no need to go that micro. And that is a good point. I look at expenses. Now, I do break it down to some point on a micro level. I want to know my direct expenses to a card sale. And when I break that down, it's pretty much what Joe posted in the Facebook group. Your direct expenses to a card sale. And that's envelopes, team bags, penny sleeves, cost of goods, card saver, labels, I don't really break it down to the eBay subscription or the Car Dealer Pro subscription because that's more of I consider that a macro cost, where, my eBay subscription is $60 a month. If I broke that down on a card level, it's fractions of a penny. So $60 a month, and I'm selling 3,000 cards a month. I guess is that 2 cents? So I guess 2 cents. That's higher. I thought it was a fraction of a penny, not 2 cents. Same with Car Dealer Pro, which probably is 2 cents. But that stuff, I consider that a macro, and I look at that as a macro, basically like my cost of goods my cost of goods. I don't break my cost of goods down on a per card basis because I'm usually buying in bulk, or I'm buying a case or a box of new product where, yes, I do consider cost per card when I'm buying certain products, but I'm not breaking that down, and I'm not tracking every single purchase. Oh, I bought $20 in dollar cards at the card show, and breaking it down that way. It goes in the kitty, and I have a monthly expense. Okay, I spent $3,000 this month on cards, and I made $8,000 in net sales and yada yada. My $60 eBay, my whatever Car Dealer Pro subscription, all that stuff goes down. It's just lumped together. I don't want to break it down on a micro level and throw in taxes and gas and mortgage and cell phone bill and electricity. And I had lunch with one of my card show dealers or customers, because you can write that off too. So Dan's in the house having a nice rare thunderstorm. Hey, we got some rain yesterday. It was awfully nice. A nice steady rain. Saturday, I looked at the 10-day forecast on Saturday, and we had, I think, 1 day of precipitation this week. And then yesterday it was like 7 of the 10 days, and now today it's 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 10 days. But it's chilly. It's only 47 degrees. It felt like fall. I took Biscuit out last night. I'm like, it feels like October outside after feeling like frickin' Hades last weekend, 95 degrees and humid. Thursday it's going to warm up. So I kind of, it's a double. We really need rain, but it's a double-edged sword because we've still got the siding guys, and we want the siding to get up. We've got to put the roof on the screened porch, so we need some dry weather for that. So fortunately, we haven't had delays on that stuff because of the weather, because it hasn't freaking rained in a month. And it was nice that Mother Nature decided we're going to give you rain, and it's going to be on Sunday when nobody's working. Let's see. Don't encourage John. Zach says, spend more time on show prep and less on your thumbnail. Bink Scott, what's up? Good morning. Baseball card curmudgeon is here. Hall of Fame card collector, good morning. I'm watching before work instead of the replay. Love it. Zach says collecting low-end sports cards is greater than selling low-end sports cards. I disagree, although I love collecting them. I've always enjoyed selling cards more than collecting. Over the last 5 years since I started the 1 Million Cubs project, it's the only time in my life, and I'm 41 now. I'm not just 40. For the last 5 years, I collect and keep. Like, never in my life did I just, like, I used to buy, I'd get tired. It's like, I'm going to collect Cubs today. And I'd buy Cubs cards, and then I'd get tired of it. It's like, well, I don't collect Cubs cards anymore. I'm going to sell these, and I'm going to buy autographed baseballs. That was my big thing, and still is my big thing. But I was more focused on it. And then there was a time where I was buying any autographed baseball I could find. And then I realized, why? Why do I need a Christian Frederick autographed baseball? I used Christian Frederick because he was like had a cup of coffee for the Colorado Rockies in like 2012 or 14. And I had one of his autographed baseballs. I bought like a collection of Phillies signed baseballs. It was, man, how many baseballs? It was like 80 Phillies baseballs. And then I have a couple still in my collection because they also played for the Cubs. So like Heathcliff Slocum stayed in my collection. There was a couple others. I can't remember the names. Probably Doug Glanville. But I, sold all the rest. Low Roller says I should list on Mercari. I'm not. I think I've said that plenty of times why I don't list on Mercari. Where do you buy your envelopes in bulk? Great question. So that let's just address some of so Joe Olivo inspired today's topic. And his post in our Facebook group, which, by the way, the link is in the chat. Just throwing this out there for any suggestions, comments, or opinions. Am I missing anything? And he breaks down some of his expenses. It's still pretty hot. Envelopes, team bags, soft sleeves, cost of goods, card savers, shipping labels, basic eBay subscription. So he's got it at $28 a month, but you can actually get, so a lot of these expenses he can get down. Envelopes, 5 cents, and I think Bink just asked that in the chat. Envelopes. Envelopes are becoming harder to find at a cheap price. I am getting mine, I think, at 3 cents at Costco. Now, I have to order them online. They're more expensive online, but they haven't been in store in like a year. So my cost is like 2.9 cents per envelope. I do find the Costco, and I buy the standard number 10s. I do find these much, much sturdier. Is that a word for paper? I don't think so. But I find these sturdier than the Walmart envelopes. The Walmart envelopes are actually about the same. If you go to Walmart, I think you're going to pay about 2.9 cents per envelope. Dollar Tree is going to be a little more. Some people have said their Dollar Trees are cheap. All of the dollar stores around here are more expensive than Costco and Walmart. I think somebody said a while ago they were able to get a bulk deal at like Office Depot or Office Max. I've looked at what's the Uline, and it's not cheaper on Uline. So Costco's where I buy them, and I just buy a freaking shit ton, which is an actual measurement where I'm from. A shit ton just means a lot. So that's where I buy my envelopes. If anybody can get your cost down to under 2.9, I think it's 2.9 cents per envelope, drop in the chat. So that's where I buy my Costco online, but Walmart is going to be about the same. The Walmart envelope. So if you don't have figure the Costco. You got to have a subscription to Costco, right? Figure that in. So if you don't have a Costco subscription, you can spend about the exact same amount at Walmart. I think you can probably even buy them on walmart.com for free shipping. I get the free. Well, it's not free because it's built into the cost at Costco. Because my expense was like 1.5 cents. It's like twice as much ordering them online because there's no such thing as free shipping. It's just built into the cost. We pulled the trigger on one of the patio sets last night. It's $300 more for delivery. We could have went to Costco, but I would have had to go get a truck, gone to Costco, lifted it myself. You know how I am with physical labor. Not very good at it. So we sprung for the delivery charge. Okay. So envelopes, you can get that cost down to about 2 to 3 cents, 3 cents, say. Team bags, I don't use team bags for low-end card sales. So that Joe has that as a 3 cent cost. I use team bags, but I only use team bags and I think somebody mentioned the exact same thing in the chat. I won't bore you by scrolling back and forth looking for the exact comment, but somebody mentioned they only use team bags if it's like a $10 and up card. That's basically exactly how I do it. So if somebody comes in and buys like a $15 autograph that's shipped ESE, PWE, I will put it in a top loader and in if it's just a single card, top loader and team bag. If it's a $1.50 card, it goes into a penny sleeve and a card saver and a piece of paper, and that's it. So there's an expense. Piece of paper, half a penny at Costco. Let's see. Cost of good here. Penny sleeves. He gets them on eBay for a penny. That's a pretty good price. If you really want, if you're doing heavy volume, you want to get that price down even further. You can get that price down to a half a penny. If you have a wholesale account with Columbia, that's where I go. I get mine for half a penny at Columbia. If you're not doing like thousands a month, a half a penny per card sale is not going to break you. But if you're looking to scale up and do massive volume, you're going to have to save those half a pennies everywhere you can find. Here's a really good one. Assumed cost to purchase the card. So cost of goods sold. Joe has 10 cents, which is really high on your basic $1.50, $2 sale. And again, I'm going to go back to John Keating's comment where my assumed cost of good is not micro level. It's going to be a macro level where I spent X amount this month on cards, on inventory. And basically if I do, I consider it a penny. When I'm buying bulk, that's about, if I'm buying just a pallet, it's basically a penny per card. In fact, let's do them. So I think it's about 125,000 cards in a pallet. Might be a little more, but let's be, so 500 divided by 125. So it's 4 tenths. So what, 4 cards for a penny? Is that what that works out to be? But again, I don't list all the cards. I bulk them out. This is why it goes to a macro, because you can do math. You could be full-time just doing math on card sales, because I'm getting 4 cards for a penny on my Goodwill pallets. But like I mentioned last week, I'm not selling every single card. Not every single card gets listed. I throw 20,000 of them away. So now, okay, well, now we got to subtract 20,000, and probably 75 to 80,000 are being bulked out. But I make money on that. I actually my guy's buying a truckload today, so there's $500. But it's about 150 to 200,000 cards. So you could do math all day if you really want to get down on the micro level of all of these expenses. I like numbers, but I don't like them that much. So that's why I look at it from a micro level. I just assume a penny per card on my cost of goods. And then that can all come back out at the end of the year, come tax time. Okay, I spent X amount of money on cost of goods. Here's how much I made in total. I don't want to break it down on a per card basis. Okay, so we've got envelopes, team bags, soft sleeves, cost of goods. We've got card savers from Columbia Hobby, 8 cents. I don't know if Joe has the wholesale discount or not, but you can get that down to about 6.5 to 7 cents per card saver with a wholesale account, which a wholesale account doesn't really give you much. The more you buy, the better you can get. I think if you buy like 50,000, you can get that down to like a nickel per card saver. But again, you have to be selling 1,000. You don't want to just buy 50,000 if you're only selling 100 cards a month. You can also buy used. I don't recommend top loaders in PWE, but you can get used top loaders for around a nickel. I wouldn't pay any more than a nickel, but you can shave a few pennies off of some of these expenses. Let's see, shipping labels. He's got 4 cents. I think my shipping labels, the breakdown is around 2 cents per label, maybe 3 cents. It depends where I'm ordering from. I think Joe also said he has a different label printer. I have a brother. I think it's Betkey. I just ordered a whole bunch, and I paid, I think, one box because they were delayed. So I had to order another box. So here's the thing. just here a little tangent. So last week I was running low on shipping labels, so I put an order in, and I was basically it was under the gun. Like it was basically just in time. It was just in time if you're in transportation, just in time ordering. And all of a sudden I still hadn't had a shipping notice. Oh shit. So I look up, it's delayed. So I go in, I think this was Friday. I go in Friday morning on Amazon and I find some labels and I click and I buy. And I'm thinking it'll probably be here Saturday or Sunday. Hopefully I have enough labels to get me through. It was their end of day. Same day delivery from Amazon. That's pretty damn cool. Thank you, Amazon Prime. Well worth the subscription. There, hey, I have an Amazon Prime subscription to order my labels. There's another expense that goes into all this. So we can do math all day. So and I might have paid a little bit more for those labels, or I might have paid a little, I don't know. But the labels, it seems every time I put an order in for labels, the price is different. Okay, so was that the last thing on here? Shipping labels and then your basic eBay subscription. Again, I consider that a macro expense. I'm not breaking that down into the micro. Again, how I look at it is I'm breaking it down. Basically what Joe does minus the eBay subscription and my cost of goods is basically a penny, but that's also what I'm paying per card on my inventory for the most part. So everything else I consider that's written off on taxes is a macro expense that at the end of the month, this is how much I paid in cell phone, mortgage, dinner, supply, or well, all of it's macro at the end of the month. But when I'm considering my net profit on a per card basis, I'm basically using those minus the subscription fee. Let's go into the chat. And I want to share more on why it's just not worth your time to sell low end cards on eBay. Where are we at? George says, are we getting close? Hey, we've got a record for live viewers. 96, by the way, is a new record. 94, the previous record for live viewers. People want to know why it's not worth their time to sell low dollar cards on eBay. We've got a lot of comments to get to, so we're going to hit the comment section. Let's see. Where are we at? Bink, there we are. So, Kyle is here. What's up, Kyle? Good morning. Listening on the road today. 98 viewers, new record. Zach, a little behind because the stream didn't come on until now. Peeps wants to know, what's a fridge rookie go for these days? Mine sold for $2. I put it on eBay for $2.50, free shipping. Somebody sent an offer for $2 and done. I listed it yesterday and it sold this morning. So that's my goal for low end card sales is in, out, in, out, in, out. Now, do I want to lose money? Do I want to accept those 99-cent offers on a single card? No, because I'm losing money on a single card transaction. But when it gets to a $3 card, if somebody sends me a $2 offer, I'm going to take it right away. Let's see. Zach says, to peeps, I would say $1.50 to $2 on eBay. Quarter box at a show, probably solar box in Chicago. I think he means dollar box. He does. Amen, says Bink. James says, card shows were slow Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be more of the same, which is great for buyers. This Saturday, Madison Card Show, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. Probably going to be a slow card show. Probably going to be a slow day at the show. So that's a good opportunity for buyers. And hey, if you're a dealer complaining about a slow card show, I get it. You want to make money, but that's a great opportunity to buy from other dealers and get some good deals. What happens at slow card shows? Dealers aren't making money. What do they want to do? Make money. Sometimes they'll offer some nice discounts to make some sales. I've found some of my best deals at a slow card show, even as a dealer. John says, you're working less, most likely. You spent 50 hours a week with your day job, including commute. Then you side hustled your free time, nights and weekends. That's true, but I also made the side hustle money on top of salary and benefits. So, take into consideration the side hustle money on top of the, I'm probably working less, but taking into consideration the side hustle and the salary, I'm probably making less still. But I freaking love it, and it beats the day job, right? TD Sports Cards, good morning. Let's see. Mark on the bus. I just dipped my toe into this potential hustle and I'm running away. Mark, I would like you to elaborate on that. So this is what I want to hear. Because I've heard a lot of, oh, this is great. I'll say this sells and somebody comes back and says, hey, you told me to list Topps Archives. And oh my God, I can't believe how many Topps Archives cards actually sell. I want to hear the opposite. I want to hear why Mark dipped his toe and now he's running away. I want to know why it's not working for people. Just like the thumbnail says, it's not worth your time. It's worth my time, but it might not be worth your time. So I want to hear the opposition because I'm still going to do it. No, this is not me exiting low dollar card sales on eBay. This is me just trying to stomp out the competition. No. Just kidding. This is me trying to tell it like it is. I want to be honest, transparent, that it just might not work. So I do want to hear from guys like Mark on the bus that's running away from low dollar card sales. John says also has zero audience. I think he's talking about Mercari. Zach says FTX had great commercials and look at them now. Mercari will dominate eBay. Mark it down. John says free listings with no customers isn't a path to financial freedom. That's exactly right. There's a reason why some of these platforms offer 1% fees and all of that, because there's nobody buying. And when there does become an audience, guess what they do? They raise the fees. And they could raise the fees to almost eBay fees with still a fraction of the audience. So don't leave eBay. John says, unless it's your wife. Let's see. Low Roller says, at least you have different platforms to sell sports cards than rely only on eBay. That I will agree with. It is nice to have, because just because I'm in eBay wonk, doesn't mean everybody else is or has to be. Mercari might work for you and others. Sportlots works. Sportlots works excellent for Mike. It just did not. It stopped working for me. Whatnot is a great platform for some people. ComC is another one. It's great. It's just not. It's not for me. Dan in the house. What's up? Good morning. I love your philosophy of staying in your lane, and I have definitely learned to draft far behind you. Mercari sounds international, more sophisticated user, requires a malaria shot. Alex says, so true. I have no kids, married and disabled vet. I'm a full-time postcard seller and sell sports cards as well. I absolutely love what I do. Last month, I sold 5,500 on eBay in postcards alone. See, it works. It does work, but it just might not work for some or most, really. John says, LRS advocates sending all your hard-earned money to Japan. Mike Summer from Sparland, Illinois. Yes, I believe he is. And Mike was, I believe, in the 1994 Class A IHSA 3-point competition. Little side note here as I go from Mike Summer to Sparland to IHSA 3-point competition. This past weekend was the state finals at the 3A, 4A level in Illinois. In baseball, there were a couple familiar last names playing. There was a Tomey for Nazareth Academy, and there was a Wood for New Trier. The sons of Kerry and Jim. Kerry Wood and Jim Tomey, by the way, both assistant coaches on their high school baseball teams. Can you imagine that? That would be, how cool is that? Nazareth Academy with assistant coach Jim Tomey and his son, Landon Tomey, who's a freshman second baseman. They won the state championship, I think, in 3A. And then in 4A, New Trier, I think they were in the third, fourth place game. I don't know how they did. But Kerry Wood is an assistant coach at New Trier. and his son is Justin Wood, who I believe is a pitcher. And I don't know if he, I didn't look at the stats, but I think he's a junior in high school. So that was pretty cool. Kerry Wood and Jim Tomey, assistant coaches in high school baseball, and both in the state finals this weekend. Mark Marinello's in the house. What's happening? Card hobbyist. Everyone's time is a different currency. That is so well said. That is so well said. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't have hobbies. I don't golf, boat, fish, hunt. I garden, which I'm not this year. And I ride my e-bike, which I have one time this year. I haven't gone on any long rides this year. I like to go to an occasional baseball game. I'm not, I don't have season tickets to anything. I'm not traveling every weekend. I don't travel at all, really. So that's, there's time, as Card Hobbyist says, it's a different currency for everyone. I don't have kids. Dan has a whole flock of kids, and he can make it work. I don't. If I have, like, sometimes it's like, oh my God, this dog is so, I have to take this dog out to go potty. How do people do it with kids? I don't know. Mark says, do you think you have to live in the continental U.S. for it to be even potentially viable? Yes, I do. Because that's where, now, and I say that from what I do in terms of baseball, football, basketball. But even so, like hockey, like if you're in Canada, I don't know the hockey market. I don't know hockey. I don't know the hockey market in Canada. But just from the outside looking in, I think it would be tough being in Canada. I think it would certainly be tough in Europe or Asia. And I know Dan might still be in the chat. Dan's in Korea. I think he could probably offer a better opinion from where he's at. But I think, yeah, it would be tough. Could it work? Probably. I don't know. But I think it's certainly, like, most of your buyers are in the continental United States. For what I'm selling, I don't know Pokemon, soccer, hockey. I can't speak to those, but football, basketball, baseball, a large portion, if not definitely a majority of your buyers are in the continental U.S. Terry says, I'm not concerned about competition from Bo. I sell all sports. There you go. List that hockey and soccer. No competition from me. Let's see. Zach says LRS is playing 4D chess, scratching winning tickets all the way to the bank. Don't worry about taxes and making his bones on Mercari. John, daters, what's up? You put in the work. A lot of people don't want to put in the work. Does not happen overnight. Well said. Like I mentioned, it's a freaking grind. And I spent 10 hours on a Sunday. Fortunately, I wasn't hungover, because then it's really hard to grind it out. It's like, oh my God, I just want to lay on the couch and watch baseball. But I listed and shipped, and I did some sorting because I've got a bulk sale that filling up my truck today for another truckload sale. So, and I think Ty asked me that on one of the bench clear shows, like, what's your average work day? And it's literally like 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Now there's breaks in between. I go to the house and I'm there for a half an hour. I might make a grocery store run, walk the dog. Like, I'm not working 12 straight hours in my basement, in my dark, dungy basement. And I think that's what I like about it. It's like, if I get tired of shipping, if I'm shipping for 3 straight hours, it's a nice day. I'm going to go take the dog for a walk. I can do that. Where you're sitting in the office and you work for 3 hours and it's like, Jesus. It's like, I'm going to go for a walk. And I could do that, but it's like I can't like just pick up and leave just any time like I can now. Let's see. John says, as long as Card Dealer Pro keeps misidentifying cards, I'll be there to pick up the scraps. Let's see. Peep says, I exclusively. Oh, I want to go back to that comment, Card Dealer Pro, because I had an issue yesterday. But it was like a Card Dealer Pro glitch. If you submit a batch of cards in Card Dealer Pro and it doesn't identify anything, there's like a resubmission button. Just resubmit, and it basically it doesn't take any more scans away. Like once they're in, that's your scan. If you resubmit, it might identify it. So yesterday I had the issue, and I reached out to one of the guys, and I'm like, because it misidentified, like, and it was basic football cards from like the 90s and mostly 90s. And it was stuff that it should have identified. And it only identified like 3 out of 100. I'm like, oh, that's weird. So I just shot him a message. I didn't go freaking hellfire on Twitter. Card Dealer Pro's not working. And I just reached out. I'm like, hey, has anybody complained about this today? And I'd never seen that resubmission button. So I went back to it. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to try this. So I messaged him back, and I'm like, I'm going to try hitting resubmit. I resubmit, and guess what? It identifies all of them. And I'm like, hey, it worked. And so it was likely just a glitch. I think it might have been an operator error by me, because I was in like this hypnotic state of listing baseball, and all of a sudden football. And I think when I hit the drop down for sport, I think I might have selected baseball. So that might have like fooled the AI, but it didn't fool it twice. Did not fool it twice. So if you're using Card Dealer Pro and it doesn't identify anything, just hit resubmit. By the way, and this came up, somebody was talking about it, how it doesn't identify in either cards. It's not good for parallels, autographs, color cards. Really, none of the platforms are. None of the AI, Bring Up Your Center Stage is one that I know of. There's some others. Do that, and it's not going to be very successful. So keep that in mind with Card Dealer Pro. If you want to scale up and use Card Dealer Pro, use my promo code. I'm going to shill for a moment. Promo code is CUBS, CUBS. And when you sign up for a paid subscription of any sort, you'll receive 500 scans. Free scans. 500 free scans using promo code CUBS, CUBS, upon your paid subscription. Let's see. Peep says, I exclusively sell all my marbles. Taxes? We're talking taxes? If card doesn't sell on Bo Store in the first month, it turns into a Dennis McKinnon 8x10 auto. Unfortunately, not in Bo's store anymore. There's actually a story behind that. Somebody came in and sent offers on like 120 cards. And if they're listening, please do it again. Just pay. Here's what happened. In my store settings, if you don't pay within 4 days, it automatically cancels the order. And in some cases, it relists. Dennis McKinnon 8x10 photo had been in my eBay store so long that eBay would not relist it because a lot of the settings were off. So I still have it. It wasn't sold. Well, it was sold. It just was never paid for. So the person put in best offers on 120 cards. And I accepted all of the offers. And then they send me a message. And this was on May 20th. And they said, can I pay for this on June 4th? I'm like, that's freaking more than 2 weeks away. That's a question you should ask before spending time sending offers on 120 freaking items. And then the seller accepts them all. So I told them, I'm like, I'm sorry, but if you don't pay within 4 days, eBay's going to cancel. I can't do this after the fact. If you tell me ahead of time, So then they canceled, and a couple of the cards actually that he put in offers, bought, didn't pay for, sold. I think he must have saw that. He's like, I wanted this. And I'm like, you can put the offers in, but just do it when you can pay for them. If you can pay for them, I'll accept your offers. And he hasn't. So most of those 120 items are still in my eBay store. Let's see. There was another one. Was it Maury Buford? Oh, was this it? Yes. No, Gary Fensick. Still here. I think that was purchased in a collection I bought during COVID in the summer of 2020. So that's how long those have been in my eBay store, 3 years. It was probably right around this time. It was when things like, because I think I was back in the office for a brief amount of time, because in 2020, I went back to the office the Tuesday after Memorial Day. And then I think 4th of July, somebody in the office got COVID. And it's like, at that time, there was no vaccines available. So half the office went back to work, including me, back at home. But I think in that month in between time, somebody who I think follows me on Twitter reached out to me and said, hey, I've got this collection from my childhood. And he's like, I just want $100 for it. And it was like, and I think I even did a video on it. So I guess maybe it might've been in July of 2020. Because I think I had started Hobby Evolution, and it was like the perfect buy sell, because it wasn't like there were no big cards. There were a lot of small dollar cards. $100 was a great price point for him to get rid of it and for me to make a few bucks. So it was a good deal for both parties. Low Roller is playing more skill games, slot machine, skilled game slot machine. That sounds like an oxymoron. Let's see. He won $1,200 in skill games in 1 week. Tony, T206 Kid, says, for me, selling cards is a side gig. Some days will be great, and I'll have $250 in sale. The next day is one card sold for $1.75. And sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. Now, I'm doing it full time, so my numbers are different. But, Thursday, I had a phenomenal sales day. And then Friday was a little down. And then Saturday, a little more. And then yesterday, I beat my goal. So Friday, Saturday, I was below my goal. Sunday, I hit my goal, off to kind of a slow start today. Where are we at? John says, the thing that set me off was the subjectivity of his COA. That was a guess on the OP's part. Therefore, the breakdown is flawed. Good morning. Happy Monday, Johnny Boy Cards. Let's see. Slot machines or skill games? Oh my. Travis Bogart in the house. What's up? Great topic today. Also, this may be a topic for the next show. What all do I need to bring to the table when it's tax time, especially after you receive the eBay tax report with prior year's earnings? I don't want to talk about. I mean, I can kind of dance around it, but really, I'm not versed in tax stuff. I can kind of give you a little guide, but basically, if you have somebody that does your taxes, talk to them. Talk to somebody that, because I don't have any licenses. I didn't take any tax courses, thank God, in college. I remember some of my class because I was in the business program, and I remember some were going into like tax law, and it's like, F that. So talk to a professional to really get in the nitty gritty. I can give you some tips. Basically anything that touches your business is a write-off. But really the best answer is call a professional. Call somebody that does taxes, an accountant, anything like that. And don't listen to anybody on Facebook. JS Friedman, what's up? Where do you buy your cards to resell? That's a great question. Most of my inventory comes from card shows. And I get them from dealers that know I buy bulk. I don't buy everything, so, hey, I hear you buy bulk. And then they hand me a 5-row box of hockey cards. And it's like from the 90s. I don't want this. I'll give it to you real cheap. A nickel a card. No. I would sell this to you for a penny a card. So I don't buy everything, but, the Goodwill palette is, I buy those on a fairly regular monthly, every 6 weeks or so. Those are rare. So, that's not something I bank on, because at any time I know that rug could be pulled out from under me. So that's not something I rely on, but I do rely on networking. And I do that through card shows. Not everyone is close to a card show. I understand that. But if you are, that's a great place to get good deals, especially if you want to sell low dollar cards, because you can get great bulk deals from other dealers. I mean, I even get great bulk deals from other dealers that do the same thing I do. And I do the same, and I'll sell bulk off to others. It's like, okay, I've taken these to card shows. I've cherry picked a few cards out and give them a good price, and boom, sold. John says, as I said in the thread, my COA is essentially 0 cards into the collection. Dupes are sold. You need to ship your cards to ComC LRS. They don't transport themselves there. And you got to price them. So there's still the time involved to price them and all that. Shane, good morning. Bruce in the house. Good morning. Do you mind if I audit your class, Card Sales 101? I ate your apple. Let's see. Every game you listed is one of chance, not skill. I'd say LRS has already beaten the odds. If he's made it this far, he's a winner. So it didn't keep because usually I have like most of this mug remaining when I finish this show. So it gets cold. I need that rubber black thing. Stachus Maximus. Have sold on eBay for 25 years, about ready to launch a lot of low-end cards. Just have one question that I have not been able to answer thanks to you and other YouTubers. What's that question? Now I'm curious. John says, I had to go to the Dollar Tree to buy envelopes yesterday. Dollar Tree was 4 cents for self-seal. Yes. Yep, that's about the price at my local when I went to price them out. Somebody told me, oh, they're so cheap. They're like a penny. And I'm like, no, they're not. No, they're not. Even the lickums were like 3 cents, I think. Stachus Maximus. Oh, this I think is his question. You have the 25% off 7 or more items with accepted offers excluded. At least that's how you had it set up the last time I checked. Is there a setting that allows the accepted offers to be omitted? I think it's default. So there is no setting that I'm aware of one way or the other. Or is that something that you have to adjust via updated invoicing? So basically, from what I've experienced, because I used to tell people when I first started those bulk discounts, somebody would come in, they'd send me a message, and I'm like, yeah, and it includes accepted offers. And then all of a sudden it didn't take the accepted offer. So it's like a default. I looked in the settings at that time. I don't think there's a setting. I think it's just default by eBay that any volume discount, and I could be wrong. If anybody knows different, please let me know. But I don't think there's a setting. So basically I have to put that wording in because eBay doesn't do it for you. That's what annoyed me. So I'll still get people like sending me dollar offers on 10 cards, and then they want an additional 25% off. It's like, I just gave you 33% off. I'm not offering 60% off. So that's why I put it in my item description where it says, and I even put it in the description here in my YouTube videos when I link. So anytime I put my link up, it's like, for the most part, I think sometimes Twitter I don't, but I will say accepted offers excluded from volume discounts. So if there is a setting and somebody's aware of where to click that, please let me know. I guess I could probably go into to check. You also get a rebate back from Costco. The calculations are endless. Yes, you do. Oh my God. The math that we can do here. We could spend all day mathing. And I certainly don't want to do that. Let's see, where are we at? We got a lot of chats in here today. Very fun. We had a record high 99 live viewers this morning. 99. I had an English teacher in high school, and she would always say that for some reason, there's some words that just drive me nuts. My mom calls a creek a crick. A crick is in your neck. A creek is a body of water. A crick is not a body of water. Wash drives me insane. You gonna wash your clothes? And my English teacher in high school said 99. There was no T. 99. And for some reason, it just, pronounce the T, lady. But then I had another teacher, also English, and she, what's the word I'm looking? Accentuated the H in vehicle. I just call it a vehicle. Vehicle. And she pronounced the H, overpronounced it. Vehicle. It's like almost a pause before the hickle. It was like a two-word word. Two-word word? That doesn't make sense. It was like two words. V and hickle. So those were two things that my teachers... But guess what? It was just one annoying thing by each. I probably had 74 annoying things that annoyed them that I did. And I can guarantee that. Let's see. Red Bridge, good morning to you. Cody in the house, what's your opinion on the best scanner for holo cards? Ooh, I don't know. I cannot tell you on that. I do not know. Glove and Beyond TV, great subject for a Monday morning. Yeah, we're going to get this week started. I say it all the time, this hobby is like any other business. It's 100% jazz and unscripted. Your MBA is no good here. I buy bulk fan-fold shipping labels. Comes out to 0.015 cents each. Very nice. Paul Heath, good morning. Card hobbyist, everyone is here to see Bo's heel turn. I love the reference. 95 viewers and 21. Hey, we're up to 35 likes and 88. So our ratio is much improved. We're down on viewers. We're up on likes. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Mark on the Bus says, I live in Canada. Right off the bat, shipping seems to kill me. Yeah. I feel terrible because I don't ship to Canada. And when I was doing a lot of trades, I had I had 2 trades to my Canadian collector friends. And I shipped and this was junk wax commons from the 90s. And I had to pay $12 for a bubble mailer to Canada. And I'm I just paid $12 to get 30 junk wax cards. This is not feasible when I'm trying to collect 1 million cards. And then at the same time, I sent a 600 count box or 800 count box. It was $50. 50. And that is when I spent $62 for 800 Cubs cards. At least the $50 the $50 trade, there was a lot of it was, I think, all Sandbergs, and there was a lot of rare oddball stuff. So at least that was worth it. But that's when I decided no more shipping to Canada. And I feel bad, but it's just that frickin' postage to Canada sucks. And I get it. If you're in Canada, it sucks for you, especially if you're trying to ship to the U.S. I also have a 4.5-year-old, so my weekends aren't for me exclusively. And that's tough. That's tough. Kids throw a wrench in it. Kids take time. Mercari doesn't even work for Mercari. Red Light 34, what's up? Took vacay, so sleep in. I am late, but made it. Welcome into the chat. John says, I will take 40 cents a card profit on 159 sales all day. As Zach said, these are 25-cent cards, and I don't have to stand behind a table for 8 hours to do so. It's a great point. Zach says, John Porter is the one that brings intelligence to this account. That was his math. That's like having your father, Gordon Ramsay, help you with your home ec final. Todd says, I know most here are seller opinions, but as strictly a buyer collector, eBay is my go-to for cards and has been for years. I love that perspective. Love that perspective. Shane says, I must be tired because I heard you say Jim Thome is married to Carrie Underwood and they are both assistant coaches. Where in the hell did you get that? Carrie Underwood? Kerry Wood. Jim Thome and Kerry Wood are both assistant coaches for their respective high school baseball teams. So there you go. Jim Thome not married to Kerry Wood, nor is he married to Carrie Underwood. Zach and Porter says, if being a good and responsible parent was a prerequisite for having kids, there would be fewer kids out there. Bo, don't sell yourself short. Get that kid making going. No, absolutely not. Have you decided on utilizing a bulk scanner? A bulk scanner. I don't know what a bulk scanner is. I use a feed scanner. Let's see. Dan says, I use Mercari Japan to buy stuff. JG says, one positive for Mercari is it lets you bundle items and send an offer to the buyer for the lot. Would be great if eBay allowed that. I totally agree. There's several things that I would like eBay to begin utilizing. That's one of them. Let's see. John says, that's how I feel about CDP, center stage, and pukey emoji. Yeah, when I first discovered center stage, which was before collects, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then I used it. There was a collection that me and another dealer at the Madison Card Show, we were going to go in on. We actually put an offer in, and they decided not to sell. And we spent a couple hours at their house going through cards, and I was comping. I ended up just going to eBay because center stage was just not working. And I'm like scanning like 86 Topps Jerry Rice, and it just wasn't working well. And so I still have the notepad, and I'm glad we didn't get that deal because this would have been in April of last year. The market was hotter than what it is now. And it would have taken a lot of time to get that money back. And the most time would have been spent fairly breaking down the collection between me and the other dealer. Had it been 6 months earlier, I would have just bought it myself. Had it been 6 months later, maybe the same at a reduced price. So it's all about timing, right? It's all about timing. Cooter, good morning. Tax classes suck. That's why I started my career in audit. Card Hobbyist says, Bo says Goodwill pallets are rare and gets one every 6 weeks. They are rare. They are once every 6 weeks is really rare because it's the only one. That's like 10 a year. And there's a lot more than just me that wants them. So I have to hide how I buy them. Let's see. I just realized I pronounce it 99. No T for Card Hobbyist. Maybe you were my English teacher. I take my pronunciation cues from Sports Card Nation. It's my English as a second language go-to. AA Cards, good morning. Let's see. +2 add to Hobby Evolution during this broadcast. You are a machine. Isolated card market in Canada. F free trade. Martin, what's up? Crossing those imaginary lines is expensive. Yeah. It's like back in the day, long distance phone calls. Remember, I mean, we had growing up, and I'm sure everybody probably that grew up in the long distance era had that like weird invisible line that all of a sudden, like, how come I can call my friend that's 10 miles away and it's a local call, but my friend 2 miles away is long distance? Because we had that line. I think, let's see, I grew up in Anawa. Hoopole, which actually was 10 miles away. Hoopole was long distance. And Hoopole kids came to Anawan schools. We could call our friends in Mineral, which was only a few miles away, local. Geneseo was like 15 miles away, local. Hoopole went to my school, long distance. Mom, can I call so-and-so? You don't worsh down in the crock. Carrie Underwood is out of Jim Thome's league, in my opinion. Probably. I got an eBay message that the Ted Williams card company, Ty Cobb, they bought has a misprint, birth date being backwards. Born in 86, died in 61. I tried explaining 1886 to 1961. Shane says, I think that's a popular opinion. A few emails sent and they are still confused. The Goodwill pallets are less rare than the electric bike rides. I'm trying to figure that one out. Less rare. That's true. Yes, that's true. For this year, I've only been on one electric bike ride this year, but I think I've bought 3 Goodwill pallets, maybe 4. John says, because your regional phone company needed to rent space on someone else's talking wire network to do so. And John explains why long distance was the way that it was. Hey, we set a new record for viewers, 99, or as Card Hobbyist calls it, 99, along with my English teacher, Mrs. Brown, 99. So put that over there. 99 new record live viewers. Thank you. Ken, you missed the main time. You missed the whole show. So that's why it's not worth your time. Just in time for Ken. And that is why it's not worth your time. So thanks for tuning in today. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Drop in my eBay store. I added over 2,000 singles to my store yesterday. Most of those 2023 Bowman rookies, Adley Rushman rookies. Get them while they're hot. $1.50 free shipping. If you want to buy them all, I'll sell them to you for 99 cents a piece. Ryan, what's up? When buying bulk from dealers or in general, what do you look for and figure for prices? It all depends. Content is king. Content within the boxes. Basically, if I'm looking at, I'm going to try to break this down on a per card standpoint. So if it's a box full of $1.50 modern cards, like Panini football and Bowman baseball and 2022 tops, 2023 tops, I'm probably going to pass altogether because I have plenty of it and it's a slower sell. But if it's like a dime box filled with 80s and 90s stars, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Cal Ripken Jr., I'm looking at a penny per card. So it's about $50 for a 4-row box. So that's kind of what I'm looking for when I'm selling $1.50 cards. It gets more difficult when it's like a $1 box or it's a $2 box, a $3 box, because then I'm looking for the breakdown of how much is this going to cost me? That's why I always ask, will you sell this whole box? And usually they're like, oh, I never thought about that. And they come up with a price. I have a price already in mind, and it just kind of depends on what their price is. If my price in mind is $200 and they say 500, I'm probably going to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to pass because I think we're too far off. If I think it's $200 and they come back and say 100, I'm going to say, okay, I'll buy this. If I think it's 200 and they say 200, I might say, how about 150? And they may say, okay, deal, or I'm stuck at 200. I'm not going to push it. I'll say, okay, I'll do 200 because that's kind of where I was at. So, and I've had all different, circumstances happen. So that's kind of how it is. And basically I'm looking to get the money. If it's $50 and they're $1.50 cards, it's $50. And it's going to take, it's going to take 100 to 125 sales to break even at $1.50 per card. But that stuff I think I can move fairly quickly enough. Some of the $1 to $5 cards, that's going to be a little trickier. And a lot of times I find it better in a $1 box where I'll ask, okay, would you consider selling this whole box? And it might be $1,000. And it's like, I'm going to have to sell 1,200 cards. There might not be 1,200 cards in the box to get my money back. Well, there should be. If it's $1 card, there should be. So that's kind of how I look at it. It's like, okay, this box, it's going to be easier for me to cherry pick and make more money with less cards, cherry picking than just buying the whole box. So that's how I look at it. Every box is different. I've done some videos. If you scroll through my channel, there might be some videos where I've broken it down on, okay, here's what I'm thinking. And maybe if I'm set up at the Madison Card Show this Saturday, but if I do any buying, I'll try to do a breakdown video and share what I bought, why I bought it, in all the thought processes that were going through my head. Ken knows all the stuff we covered. He doesn't need hobby summer school like the rest of us. So that's what I had for today. Again, thank you. Live viewing record of 99 viewers. So thank you for that. Hit the like button if you haven't already. eBay store link is in the description. Hobby Evolution Facebook group. If you want to read there's a ton of comments on this very topic. Thanks to Joe Olivo for bringing this topic up on the Hobby Evolution Facebook group yesterday. There's how many comments? Over 30 comments already on the thread. So if you want to read more about it, there's the Facebook group. Join now. And with that, I'm out. Have a great day, and we'll be back tomorrow.